Hi everybody, this is Ruth Royal from Youth Pledge for Employers, and I'm really pleased to be here today with Sean Van Looy, who is Director of Operations at Barnham Broom. Sean, lovely to see you.
Hello, hello.
Tell us a bit about Barnham Broom and everything that happens there.
So Barnham Broom is primarily a golf resort,
Right.
but we have a hotel, we have holiday apartments, we have restaurants, bars, a spa, health and fitness. So it's the sort of place that you come and spend time to escape and maybe participate in an activity or just relax.
Wow, that sounds brilliant. And I know how lovely it is there from having been myself. But
Thank you.
it seems to me that there are a whole host of different things that happen there. What sort of different areas do people work in, and what sort of skills do they have for those different areas?
So primarily, we have got a hospitality business, but there are key areas of the resort that you have to have a specific skill set for. So to give you an example, if you want to work in the spa, you would need to be level 2 trained in beauty therapy.
Right.
If you want to work in our golf estates team, you need to be qualified in greenkeeping.
Right.
If you want to work in the kitchen, you need to be a qualified chef. So there are relevant qualifications needed depending on the areas that you're working. But equally, there's a lot of areas that there's no qualifications needed. We're looking for people who have got charm, charisma, really good personality, and we can then train them, we can develop them, we can show them what to do. We just want people who have got a natural passion for looking after, in hospitality terms, the sort of general public.
And for those jobs perhaps that don't necessarily need specialist skills, first of all, do they tend to be, what sort of jobs do they tend to be?
So anything from working in and around our food and beverage areas.
Right.
So we've got guys that are running our restaurants, our bars. We have quite a lot of events that take place at Barnham Broom. So, we're looking after 50, 60 weddings a year. We've
Wow.
got having golf days. So we need people who can, help us to deliver the experience to those clients. So, they can be flexible roles that fit around families. They can be full-time roles that give you a career. There really is a whole host of different available sort of roles in this sector.
And with that sort of in-house training to be able to do them well, presumably, as
Absolutely.
well.
So we're looking for people with personality first and foremost, and we will show them and develop them and train them on how to deliver to the Barnham Broom way.
Oh, fantastic. And for thinking about perhaps some of those other areas as well, what are the different sort of entry points that people may come in with those different qualifications? Is that, so in the spa, would that be like in that, if you've got a beauty therapy level 2 qualification, would that be potentially an entry point there, or do you recruit people with experience?
That's an entry point. So from the spa's perspective, we have to have certain industry qualifications. So level 2, we have a lot of leavers from City College that finish their level 2 and then join us. That being said, we've got people who are more mature, who have been working in the industry or in and out of the industry that then come and work at Barnham Broom and may have level 3 as well. And then we will do very specific training around the actual experiences that we offer. So we team up with a beauty house called Spa.
Right.
And they want us to deliver their product range of treatments and also retail to a certain level. So we also then will invest in our new recruits to get them trained to the level that SBAR would want them to be trained. So there are lots of other layers of training that take place as well.
That's really interesting. So it's not just like you've got one thing, you come in and do it. It's actually that you continue to be developed in that sort of.
And I think in greenkeeping, which is our estate side of things, so sort of working outdoors, looking after our golf courses, we take on a number of apprentices. That's really the starting point. You're doing your qualification whilst you're learning the job. And we've had great success. We've got a number of guys that have just qualified as greenkeepers, having done 2-3 years of their apprenticeship, and they've qualified with distinctions. So supporting them on their journey as well is really important to us.
So so people will come to you sort of, well, I know you can obviously do an apprenticeship at any age, but you might choose to do that perhaps if people were younger and they decided they wanted to go into greenkeeping, they might come to you any age from 16 up. Would that be
Yeah,
right?
we've generally got people that are joining us between 18 and 24. So
Okay.
maybe they're not sure what they want to do. They've gone through their academic, and they've decided actually that's something I'd like to try. And we work with Eastern and Otley College and other providers to deliver that apprenticeship.
And what is, this is probably a very odd question, but in terms of like what, with the greenkeepers, what might their average day look like?
Well, that's a good one. We have a whole host of machinery
Right.
that they would be trained to use. So they might be driving a tractor with a leaf collector on it,
Right.
this time of year in particular, with the leaves falling off the trees.
Yeah.
We might have somebody who is driving around on what I would call a very specialist lawnmower. So
Right.
this is a greens machine. So this is a very specialist piece of kit, costing tens of thousands of pounds.
Wow.
That does the sort of precise cutting of our greens on the golf course. We've got people that are out edging bunkers. We've got people that are out with a chainsaw, doing tree work, taking branches off trees. So there's a whole myriad of things to do. You have to be outdoorsy. That's the one thing. In the summer, it's hot. It can be beautiful weather-wise. In the winter, it can be cold, it can be wet, it can be rainy. A lot of this work takes place outdoors. So
that's really helpful to understand. I think sometimes it's really useful to understand the format of the work that you do. And I guess as well, you probably have to be quite a good team player because you might be working, but also be able to work independently.
Absolutely. I mean, they will all have their briefs. They'll go off, and sometimes they're working in small teams, but often you're working sort of solo. You are on a machine on your own, and you have to get around a 300-acre site and do the tasks that have been laid out for you to do. And then the team will, they'll have their break time. They'll all meet back. They'll have their break together, discuss, what they've been doing, and then they go off again. So, it's a very well structured routine. But the routine changes on a daily basis, which makes it very enjoyable.
Oh yeah, I bet that sort of doing something different each day must be really interesting in that respect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially if you love being outdoors. That sounds like a fantastic job. What about if you could sort of, I'm mentally picturing all this, if you could sort of take us on the tour, like to your kitchens, I guess, in terms of catering. We talked about people becoming or joining you as qualified chefs. What sort of levels do people join at in your kitchen?
Similar to greenkeeping, where we have apprentices. So again, through the City College, we will take on apprentices that will then do their one-day release at the college and learn from an apprentice level, which then qualifies you as a commis chef or a chef de partie, which are the sort of the two starting levels within the kitchen. And generally, you will find what passion you have. So we've got a number of people that like to go into the pastry side, so sort of baking and pastry. And pastry kitchens are very, very rare nowadays. A lot of sort of big businesses buy in the produce from suppliers. We actually, are quite rare to have a pastry kitchen that we're making everything freshly in.
Wow.
So our afternoon teas, the people that come and enjoy afternoon tea with us, every element of that has been, prepared that day in our pastry kitchen to deliver the sort of best ingredients, the best experience to our guests.
Wow. So if you're then coming in as a chef, obviously you need the practical skills that you would learn. What other sort of skills or qualities make effective kitchen team members?
You have to be a team member. So they call a kitchen brigade a brigade for a reason. It's almost bordering military, where you have a hierarchy in the kitchen. You have lots of people at different levels with different skill sets. And it has to work as a team in order to function properly, because everyone is doing their little bit to deliver whatever it might be. So if you think about, we're fortunate enough to have a lot of people choose Barnham Broom to have a wedding. That's a big day. You're delivering, the canapes when the guests arrive. You're delivering the wedding breakfast, which is the first meal that they will have once they've been married. You're delivering the evening reception, so whether that's a hog roast or a pizza bar or whatever it might be. So the kitchen team need to pull all of those different elements together over the different sections in the kitchen in order to make sure that we, deliver what we need to deliver for our clients at the highest level. And it's all
Yeah.
local produce that we're using. So
Oh, wow, that's brilliant.
we're really proud of our heritage, and we're proud of being in Norfolk and working with local Norfolk suppliers.
Oh, I'm sure that makes a massive difference as well in terms of like the outputs from your kitchen, having that sort of quality going in. With the chefs, are there also, I mean, I think as well, it's important to understand the environment that working in a kitchen is like, that it can be hot, I'm guessing, with all the heat.
It can be.
You're going to be standing up a lot.
You are. Absolutely. We generally, back in the old days, it was a lot harder than it is today. I think the industry has modernised. It's been able to look at treating the teams better, giving them better working life balances. So we're generally expecting the guys to work 5 days. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat.
Oh, no worries.
5 days a week. You get your 2 days off generally together. And you're doing about 9 to 9.5 hours on the service. That's the length of your shift. So it's generally about a 45-hour working week. Now, if I go back probably 15, 20 years ago, an average chef would be doing probably 65 hours. So it's improved tremendously. And the technology has improved tremendously, and even talking about, we have air conditioning units now in our kitchen to make sure that during the summer when it is hot and you've got lots of stoves and things that are producing temperature, it's cooling. And actually we're going through an upgrade where we're going to be putting in a load of induction equipment. So this is sort of modern technology that doesn't produce a lot of heat. It's only producing heat when it's actually cooking, rather than just constantly being hot. So there's a lot of modernisation within certainly the culinary side of the roles, which has made the job of being a chef or working in a kitchen as a kitchen assistant or kitchen porter a lot more enjoyable.
Oh, that's really interesting to understand the impact of technology as well on that working environment. And I'm guessing as well that, like you say, they've got to have that very strong team player element in terms of what they're doing, because you're all part of that line of delivery, as it were.
Absolutely, and you have to deliver at the timescales that you need it. If we've got a client that has booked a meal for 1 o'clock, then their meal has to be delivered at 1 o'clock. You can't be behind the curve on that. So all of the elements have to come together and hold hands and produce what they need to produce at the time that it's been booked for. So it is a very unique environment from that perspective. Yeah.
I guess as well, I just wanted to ask about, obviously you were sort of saying you do so many weddings. I never realised it was that many a year. It's huge. Do you have people that are particularly involved in kind of that sort of events planning, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a team that are purely here to do the event side of things. We've got a wedding planner who is employed by us, and she will go from the first inquiry where we get a happy couple that are looking to host their big day with us, and she'll take them through the complete journey. And bearing in mind, a lot of these bookings, a lot of these couples are coming in 1, 2, 3, 4 years before the big day. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of expectation. So we have to make sure that we're holding their hand at every step of their journey with us, and then we see so many happy couples that then, shall I say, tie the knot with us.
Oh, that's really nice. And in that events team, are there any other roles, or is it mainly just the wedding planner?
So no, we have meetings, we have corporate golf days. So we've got people that specialise in their own area. So Charlie, who specialises in weddings, we have Debbie, who specialises in golf days, we have Lisa, who specialises in meetings, we have Peter, who specialises in social banqueting. So social banqueting might be a prom, it might be somebody's 40th birthday, it might be a wedding anniversary, it might be a Christmas party. So we've got people who specialise in their area so that they can seamlessly work with our clients to deliver whatever it is that they are wanting to deliver and achieve.
What sort of experience and skills do people usually have who sort of come to you for events planning?
So you can go through an academic process. There's also a lot of online training now that you can do with regards to events planning. And then you can just do it from the point of view of on the job. So we have a lot of our team started as frontline waiters, waitresses, servers, working on the
Right.
sort of event side of things, get an understanding for how they operate. And then over time, they progress into a more administrational sort of role, sales role, where they then pull that information together in order to deliver it. So you have to appreciate fully the sort of the complete process involved, from the initial inquiry right the way through to delivering it on the day. And if you can't do that, you're going to really struggle to, sort of work in that.
Yeah.
So it does take time. You need a lot of experience in order to do it.
That's great to understand as well, that that's sort of like a progression route as well for people gaining
Absolutely.
that sort of hands-on experience.
Yeah.
That's really useful to understand that as well. And what about, obviously you're part of a management team there, Sean, as director of operations. Do people tend to progress up through your organisation, or do they come in as managers? What sort of
No,
skills do
we
people
we
have?
encourage progression. Ultimately, we will have certain roles where we're recruiting within the local marketplace, and we've got, we're a privately owned, family-run business.
Absolutely.
Very proud to be established 45 years. Very proud of our heritage and everything we do. Very proud of our reputation. So, from the point of view of bringing people into the team, we're seen as a very good employer. We're seen as a very nice workplace to come to. But equally, if we can develop within our team, and we do, almost on a monthly basis, have people that are internally, moving around within our business and being promoted within our business, then we absolutely, that's the biggest reward, really, that we can invest in our people, and our people can grow with us.
Sean, sort of reflecting back on your own career journey, if you were to go back and give yourself, young Sean, a piece of careers advice, what do you think that might be?
Do what you feel you have a passion to do. If you can find your passion, because sometimes it's very difficult when you're younger.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues that you can go on, and try and find a mentor. Try and find somebody that you really look up to, that is doing what you want to do one day, that you can then really shape and mold yourself on. Everybody that we work with, and we're all about people. There's good and bad when you work with people, and you need to shape yourself. You need to take the good out of everybody that you work with, all the experiences you get, and you need to learn from the bad. How did it make you feel? What did that do? Was it negative? And therefore, how could we do things? How could we improve how we perform in those areas? And set yourself, really set yourself an objective of where you want to be. I always had a 3-year plan. In 3 years, I want to be at this level. I want to develop myself. I want to be, and you keep pushing yourself. And even now, I have a 3-year plan of where I want to be. And I think, if you can achieve those milestones, then you will get where you want to get in your career.
I think that is absolutely brilliant advice. Sean, thank you so much for your time today. It's been fascinating to talk to you.
You're welcome. Thank you.